So here we are in the dining room today, and I wanted to start on this side here, kind of show you what I've got going on. So let me just adjust the brightness a little. I'm gonna start right here. Up top is my Cebu Blue, and I've had this guy for over a year now. This is one of those ones where I got it like Lowe's or Home Depot. I was so thrilled to find it, and this guy, he's really easygoing. He's been there pretty much since the start. He doesn't lose a lot of leaves or anything, so he must be getting enough light. I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 8 feet from a south window, and then it's also got the light up there, and then I don't really feel like that's gonna do much, but this here is getting ready. I finally found my Monstera Siltepecana for a price that I thought was okay. I found one at Steve's Leaves for, I think, $25 I paid, so I'm really excited, and I'm gonna put him in a pot inside of that, and then I'm gonna hook up a grow light, which will kind of mimic this side over here. So I'm gonna show you that. Let me just go through here. Oh, Moonshine Sansevieria first, I forgot about that. That guy, I bought him, it was the middle of a terrible winter storm. We lost power, we were out of the house, and I still went plant shopping at Home Depot because I was just so stressed out and I kind of wanted to, you know, just have some stress relief, and I ended up finding my Moonshine, so I got him. And then here, I'm gonna just so you can see the light, but I am gonna turn this off because it's gonna make it hard to film. So this is my Philodendron Micans. It's only been in this spot here for about 3 days because I wasn't happy with the growth it was getting in the window I had it in. You can see that the new growth is coming in so small, which means it wasn't getting enough light. So hopefully being in here will kind of perk it up some. And then my Pilea. This guy started out so easygoing. Another one that I picked up during that power outage over like a year and a half ago. But I moved it at Christmas time. I moved it upstairs for the month, and it didn't respond well. So it started like dropping leaves. I ended up taking cuttings and making it like a bunch of different ones in the pot. So I'm hoping that this light is gonna be what it needs, because it was getting brown spots on the leaves when it was in the other window, which I took to mean too much sun, and it hasn't been getting any more. So I think that that will help that at least, but I don't know, it's so weird. It started out so easy going and then it went downhill. So hopefully we will be kind of like on the rebound. Now over here, you can't see that because it is so washed out, but this is another grow light thing I have set up, and I'm going to go ahead and turn this off now so you can see what's going on. So this is just a plug-in wall sconce, and it's got kind of like that industrial pulley look, because for me it's important that things, I want it to be functional, yes, to help the plant, but I also want it to be like really pretty to look at. So I've kind of got it here on the side of the hutch, and I'm going to mimic that on the other side of the hutch. I'm going to go ahead and just put one. I might end up moving them higher depending on how it works, but it'll be kind of on each side so it's symmetrical and it looks purposeful. And then this is my Rhaphidophora tetrasperma. I looked for this guy for so long, and then when I went to Terrain in February, I ended up finding him. This guy is another one. He grows like a weed, but then I started panicking. There's some things about him that are really difficult for me. So this top part, I don't know if you're going to be able to see great, it started changing color. It got kind of like, not truly yellow, but it's yellowy more than it's green. And so my first thought was maybe it needs fertilizer, because it has grown. When I got it, it was literally only that tall. So it's grown all of that. And then it's filled out down here too, because it didn't have half the leaves it did. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe it needs fertilizer. So I fertilized. I don't know how long that should take, like how many weeks or whatever. So in the meantime, I started doing research, and I think that it might have been getting a cold draft. So right down here behind it is an AC floor vent, and I have, I think, like 2 or 3 in each room. So for now, I've kind of blocked that one off, and I'm hoping that it hasn't been damaged beyond like the part where it can just stay where it's at. I don't want it to die off. And then the other thing about this guy that I have a lot of issues with is propagation. So I was thinking it grows so fast and so readily. Pretty much whenever you get one new leaf, the next one is coming out. Like you can see down here, this leaf just happened. You can see the new one is already popping out. but I took a propagation, like a little cutting in April, and it's September now. It's September 2nd when I'm filming this, and it still hasn't rooted. It's been sitting there for like 6 months, and it still has not gotten any roots. The leaves have curled up a little, but it's not dead. So I'm just gonna leave it and see what happens. I've tried changing the light exposure on the propagation. I don't know. So that's kind of like an experiment I'm working through. Now over here, this is like another little experiment I did. And I think that's what's so fun about plants. You guys that love plants, you can kind of weigh in and like trying things. So this is a Hoya curtisii that I had just like a little cutting of. And I went to a plant store and saw these plants that they had put on boards, fell in love with it, but thought, you know, what do I have that I could try that with? So I tried it with this curtisii. So far it's doing okay. We're just gonna bring them over to the table here so you can get a better look. And gosh, I wish this lighting would really, there we go. Okay, so basically I just put some sphagnum moss. I got it damp and I used picture wire. Not pretty from the back, but you don't really see in the back, so. And then what I'll do is I'll just wet it when it seems like really dry. I'll just run it under the faucet, get the sphagnum wet, and hopefully this will work really well. And I've noticed since I put this Hoya in the grow light area, the leaves you can almost see are like getting darker, almost like the sun's stressing. So that's kind of fun. And I made this with stuff that mostly I had. I did end up buying the sphagnum because I didn't have any sphagnum moss, but all the wood and the wire and stuff and the plant I already had. So I just kind of wanted to get in on that trend and like see what would happen. Okay, there's only a few more foliage type plants. This is where I keep my cacti, so we're going to get into them last. But up here we have my Scindapsus pixis. And I love this plant. This one grows really well for me. And I just love the leaves. They have kind of like that shimmery satin feel, hence the name probably. But this guy grows really well for me. Next to it is a Sansevieria cylindrica. That one came from IKEA back in the very beginning of my plant journey. And it really hasn't grown. So I mean, it's not dead, but it hasn't really done anything either, so. But I mean, I don't know. I don't buy the snake plants to watch new growth. I buy them because I like the structural type shape of them. I feel like you get the plants like this that trail, and it's nice to have something upright and a little like sharp next to it. And then coming down here, I have a Pothos and Joy. And this was a grocery store find during the beginning of quarantine when basically all you could do was run out to get groceries, and I found this guy, so that was so nice. Now, right here on my table, this is one of my newer finds. This is the Philodendron Birkin, and I found him at Lowe's. He is here right now because I'm quarantining him. I saw a tiny web on the back, and I wasn't sure if it was just a spider or a spider mite. So I covered the soil, turned it upside down, and hosed everything off. And I'm waiting on a spinosad, Captain Jack's dead bug. I like to use that for spider mites. And then I did notice that a lot of the leaves have these spots. And I'm kind of just going to wait it out and see because the new ones don't. So I'm thinking that it got some kind of a foliar spray on it, some kind of chemical or pesticide or something, and it got some kind of like a damage. Maybe it got sunburned through it. I don't know. But the new ones seem to be coming out okay, so I'm just going to kind of wait it out and see and not panic right away. My Tillandsia xerographica. I love that guy. And then I've got more hanging plants here because this is a south window. So this one gets a ton of light. And I'm just gonna, you're gonna hear me sliding chairs and tables so I fit in here because I want to get in closer to show you guys. So this is my string of bananas. And this guy actually just got pruned yesterday. He was already starting to hang down there. So this one grows really great for me. And this is one of the succulents that I kind of surprised myself with. So it was getting really tiny new growth and I could not figure it out. I was thinking it had to be something to do with light, but it's in the south window. So, I mean, I don't know, you know? And then I found out that I don't think I was giving it enough water. I started watering it really deeply once a week. I wait till it dries out completely. I use my soil, the moisture meter, but it'll get bone dry within a week. And before I would wait like 2 or 3, which I think is what was causing the small growth. So these have kind of fattened up and it's gotten really nice. Next to that is my lipstick plant. This I picked up at Lowe's, I think 2 years ago maybe. It was marked as a mini variegated lipstick plant, but I have never seen any variegation on it. I did, however, start to see flowers this year. This is the first time I've ever seen any blooms on this guy. And you can see, I don't know if you're gonna see that back in there. It's not open yet, but it's starting. And then there's like 2 more. You can see like a little bud starting there. And then somewhere else, I don't know without getting in and examining it. And then here are 2 more of my hanging plants out here. And I'm gonna slide some chairs again. Okay, so this here is the Peperomia Ruby Cascade. And I mean, it's called that because if you look at the backs of these leaves, they are bright red. So this one is my, I don't know, it's the plant I water the least probably. I water this like on par with a Sansevieria. I let it dry out completely because if this gets overwatered like once or twice, it just turns to mush. I got this at Home Depot as a pot that had been likely overwatered. A lot of it was gone, and I've been kind of nursing it back to health and getting it full. And then, you know, it's really easy to take cuttings and put them back in the top, so it's easy to do that with, but you have to be so vigilant with the water. And then next to it is my string of hearts, which has also gotten a haircut recently. This guy, probably one of my fastest growing plants. I mean, I don't know, it's here now. Within, I don't know, a month or 2, it'll be down there again. So I love this guy. And then this one blooms pretty much all summer. The blooms are, I mean, they're not my favorite part of it, so. But there you go, there's one left, so. And then down on this shelf is where I have all my cacti and succulents, and we'll just go over them quickly. I don't know the names of every single one because some of them come unnamed, especially the cacti. So over here, I have a Kleinia, which I believe has also been recently renamed, but it's also called the pickle plant. That's a Stapelia right there. And these guys have not done too much. I mean, you can see the Kleinia is getting a little bit of new growth in the back, but they were not happy when they were in the full sun. So I have moved them off to the side a little. They still get bright sun, but I don't know. There is my aloe, and I believe that one's called the blackthorn aloe. If you get in closer, these are all like a dark purpley black. So that guy's kind of fun. He's like over 2 years old. He's getting to the point soon where I'm going to have to make him an outside in the summer type plant because he's getting pretty big. Next to that is my old man cactus. And I know I named it Ethel. I know it's an old man cactus, but it reminded me of my grandma Jay used to have the hair like that. That's an opuntia there, the bunny ears cactus. All right, this one here, I do not know off the top of my head the scientific name for it, but you can imagine what it is called. This was one of my quarantine splurges. There's another opuntia, my lithops. These guys have been going for probably 2.5 years now, and my tip or my trick with these guys, I water them literally maybe twice a year, and I only water them a tiny dribble. It's nothing like the water the rest of these guys. The rest of these guys get watered about weekly during the summer, and I water it till it runs through. They actually like more water than most people would think, so I water them till they run through, and every week, as long as the soil is completely dry when I do it. And then, well, now it's September, so probably by the end of this month, I will move them all into my basement, which stays maybe like 50, 55, and I will cut watering for the winter until I bring them back up for the spring. So they get kind of like a dormant rest period. This one here is the Arizona snowcap. It's a type of mammillaria, I believe. This one is the boob cactus. That was also another quarantine splurge. Back there is the Tephro-cactus. I believe it's the articulatus. It's the paper spine one. So if you touch those spines, they're kind of like, they're like paper feeling. There's my Euphorbia obesa. That's my domino cactus. This guy is the one that blooms every single year for me. So, I mean, if you're getting a cactus for the blooms, I don't know if I'm doing anything special. I feel like this is probably just an easy one. And then my elephant bush, which is the Portulacaria afra, I think. I'm pretty sure that's the name. This one is kind of, I think they call it like the mini jade or whatever. This one is really easy. I'm doing right now. You can see I just took a cutting yesterday, some propagations to kind of see how that works. This one is the watch chain. It's a type of crassula. I believe Crassula lycopioides. If I'm wrong, I'll put it on the screen. But this one here, I also tried some cuttings yesterday. I don't know how it's going to work. But these little guys are all kind of like leaves. So if you just take a cutting and hold it and strip the stem, I'm going to see if I can get them to root. There is my gasteria. Here's another aloe plant. And this one is starting to get some sun stress. You can see some red coming into the leaves. That guy I'm pretty sure is done, but I'm just in case it roots. That's a kalanchoe. That was one of those mother of thousands type plants. And I had it upstairs last winter. It was amazing. I took it upstairs for the winter. And I'm pretty sure a mouse ate it because it looked like it was chewed apart, and then I did find mouse droppings, so I don't know. This year I will set traps around the plants and I'll be extra vigilant, but I don't know if that guy's gonna bounce back. This here is my cactus. I call it my Valentine cactus. I got this from my husband for Valentine's Day, and this is one of those ones that came from like Walmart where it's only an inch or two tall and it's pretty much glued into that pot with no drainage, which is like certain death. So all the rocks were glued in and it was in that tiny pot with no drainage. So I busted it out of that pot pretty much as quickly as I could. And this guy, I mean, honestly, I'm trying to get my hand in here without poking myself. And he was literally maybe that tall. I mean, this guy has grown so much. I have a stick because he keeps getting like lopsided. And he is another one that will bloom in the spring. He gets a row of flowers pretty much like circling the top. This one here is the toothpick cactus. And you can see that guy has some damage. I dropped him. So yeah, I dropped him. I was so upset because he had a huge gash in him. And I mean, that's not the only one. There's another one somewhere. But he managed to kind of heal. And he's one you got to be careful not to get too close to because he is sharp. This one here is the Pelasgia chichipe. And I got this guy because I liked the patterning on him. How it's kind of like a chevron of like the bluish green colors. Here's one of the ones I don't know what it's called. I picked that up at IKEA a few years ago. And this one's really easy to propagate. You just knock one of these little babies off and it will start on its own. Here's a yucca, and I know this isn't a cactus, but this was like the best spot I had for it. So it's like right next to the south window. It gets the bright and direct light. And this was something my husband brought home from the grocery store just to surprise me. So I thought that was really cool. Here is just some Ripsalis cuttings from a plant I have in the living room. This is my blue chalk sticks, which is, I believe, a Senecio. May have been reclassified. I'm still trying to catch up on all that. I know a lot of the Senecios have been reclassified as Curio. So, but blue chalk sticks will do it. My mom just brought me this home, I don't know, maybe like 3 weeks ago. So I don't have a whole lot of succulents. Most of my stuff is cacti. So I'm kind of like branching out a little bit. And then here is, this is another type of crassula. This is the baby buttons, I believe they call it. And you can see it's kind of pink at the top here, getting a little bit of sun stress. But I just thought this was really cute. I love the kind of like squishy leaves. All right, back in here, this is one of the ones I'm not sure. I had a couple of ideas of what it could be. I had seen something, a chin cactus, which maybe, but I'm not sure. So this is one that came unlabeled, and I've been trying to do research. This is another one that came unlabeled, so I have no idea on that guy. This one I found recently. I forget. It was either Lowe's or Home Depot, but I like the blue cactus, and I like the kind of almost pattern on him. And then the shape of him, from the top, it looks kind of like a star. So at first when I saw it, I thought it was an astrophytum. It is not, but I will put the name on the screen. I'm trying to recall it off the top of my head because I have an app where I store all these, and like once you type them in, it's easier for me. Once I've written something or typed it, I believe it's a Lameroserius, but I'm not sure. So I'm going to put that one on the screen for you. This is the Devil's Tongue, and this is a little one. I used to have a big one, and he got some kind of rust and then rot. But this guy here, this is one of my newest finds, and you'll have seen this in one of my recent plant hauls. And then this guy here is another one that I don't know, but his spines are so similar to the Devil's Tongue that I'm thinking he may be some kind of pharaoh cactus, so that's the family I'm going to start trying to research and see if he's in. And then I got my Ming thing here, and then this guy here, another one I'm not sure because he came unlabeled, but I was leaning towards a Gymnocalycium. So I mean, if you guys know any of the names of the ones like that guy or that one, if any of these you know the names of, go ahead and leave it in the comments because I would really appreciate it. But yeah, that is what I have got going on in my dining room right now in September. So actually kind of like a fall plant tour. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.